Animations seem pointless in virtual reality, especially from a game that came from a desktop and console variation. However, animations can change the feeling of the game around you regardless of how you see it. You may not be able to see the animations with yourself, but the animations can still occur within the world. Vanilla animations are old and basic, yet the changes we're about to, change will bring life to our game. Hello, my name is Soul and welcome back to Skyrim VR Top 10s. But clearly from the title, this week is Top 20. This Top 20 are mainly brief descriptions and brief visuals of the mods, and they are confirmed to work in VR. If you want a more in-depth review of a particular mod, let me know in the comments. Before we begin, this video took me so long to create and research, as this is being late. So if this video helped you decide on a mod or you simply enjoy the input from this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content, whether it's VR or straight up comedy. I also stream on Tuesday and Friday on 3 platforms: Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Linktree is in the description. Also, if you'd like some modding help from me or you just want to join my community, join the Soul Chamber, my Discord server. Now, close to the end of the video, I will mention what type of animation mods will not work for VR until proper support has been created for them. Now, let's reanimate our world. First off, we need the foundation and prerequisites to some of these mods, which could either be For's new idols in Skyrim SE or Nemesis SE. There are ways to do both, but that's up to you and how dedicated you are to modding your game. I've done this before, but then I've completely replaced FNIS with Nemesis. With Nemesis, you must patch your game with the executable every time you install a new animation, which you also must do that with FNIS as well. And a full tutorial for both of these will come to your Specialize sometime this week, if you are unsure how to use Nemesis or FNIS. Now, before going deeper into the video, these mods are mainly focused on the NPCs of our Skyrim VR, as it's practically pointless to get mods that affect the player. There are some mods that can affect the player's hands, specifically casting magics though, which I'll mention later on in the video. The next prerequisite is XP32 Maximum Skeleton Special Extended, a mod that adjusts the skeleton for all animations, whether it's hair, cloaks, and if you desire it, boobies, which we will not cover in this video, but if requested I can cover the tatas. On to the last prerequisite for our list: Dynamic Animation Replacer, or DAR for short. DAR, like in its name, dynamically replaces animations on actors, which is our NPCs in this case, for various conditions. DAR can also adjust animations for creatures, just to let you know. Now on to the actual list. Neutral VR animations for VRIK. If you use VRIK and notice when you draw your weapon, the animations take an unnatural and default stance, which also ties into the animations when holding, swinging, and many other animations. This makes the animations of the VRIK body more neutral and natural. EVG Animation Variance. The player and NPCs normally do not have any animations that differentiate themselves from one another, whether they're carrying a torch or they are elderly. Since we are in VR, however, we don't need our animations. So within the MCM, just toggle yourself off. That sounds weird. With animation variants, NPCs get animations for their personality, conditions, or just random animations, and each person has their own stance and walk, giving them more personality. Most of these are hard to distinguish, however, like the idols and the torches that can be slightly tilted when held or even higher. The animations are mainly vanilla or repurposed and give more variety into the game. Adding to the variety of animations, EVG Conditional Idles grants idols for NPCs that are under specific conditions, whether it's injury, cold, rain, stamina, or being shamed with nudity in public. Again, these bring more life into our game. Relax Sneak, from the same creator of EVG, grants the player and NPCs a more natural sneaking animation. But again, you're not going to see it. However, you can see your followers get in that sneaky state. There's no need to go down that low, fellas. Just chill out, relax. Just, you know, keep your toes quiet. That's all I ask. To expand the injuries, we can add Injured Animations Dynamic Replacer, which adds more dynamic animations to the injured when their health is below 20%, and they'll remain injured when they're in combat as well, as noticed, as EVG's injuries occur unsheathed and below 50%. Stepping away from our NPCs for a moment, Animated Clutter adds animations to several objects that you, the player, are able to interact with, whether it's a knapsack, a satchel, or spider sacks. These are also completely modular within its foam mod, so it's your choice. Now we'll dive into animations that affect the combat of our game for a more dynamic gameplay and get rid of the vanilla animations. To add more emotion and epic magic casting, we can add smooth magic casting animation. And to increase the magic experience even further, we can add smooth staff animation, which will allow the actors to hold staves like a typical novel adventurer. Just know the previous mod is a prerequisite for this one. We can bring elegance to casting magic in Skyrim VR, not some clunky, here, take this kind of thing, you know? If that makes any sense. Well, anyway, our followers and foes can now be more elegant. To enhance our combat much further in terms of our animations, SkySA Combat Behavior Compulsion, bringing modern combat from modern gaming to Skyrim that is now. But we're in VR, and this is just a framework for our next mod anyway. However, there are plenty of other mods you can try. However, to be safe, I selected mods that do not affect the player drastically or at all, so just be aware of this. JH Combat Animation Pack SE adds combat animations that adjust each weapon type and more. However, within the foam mod, selecting the NPC module alone is what we want, and we can then witness the glory of the animations. I'm sure you've been looking at it this entire video. Adding a few weapon types into our game, True Spear Combat, the DAR version, can be implemented. True Spear Combat offers animations and weapons that include spears, tridents, halberds, and javelins for both the player and NPCs. This mod is compatible with a wide range of mods that would add these type of weapons, like immersive weapons for example. I personally chose the no throwing weapons version, as our next mod can do that just a bit better. The following mod requires a weapon throw VR, and it's called VR Arsenal. It adds a wide collection of custom weapons specifically built for VR, adding a wide variety of throwable weapons, like shurikens, magical grenades, kunai, and even wine bottles. To make it properly be implemented though into the level list, you need to follow the instructions on the mod page with synthesis and a list maker. Our next set will involve the animations of the various movements of our NPCs as well as some armor attachments. The next 8 or so mods are from the Vanargand, and Leviathan animations series. Each of these are self-explanatory, just witness the NPCs in each respect. The Vanargand, something like that series touches on the light armored variants of NPCs, and Leviathan touches on the heavy armored NPCs. I did not include the sneak attack animations, as you basically never see an NPC sneak attack at all. However, I do want to note, if you want these animations, both EVG Animation Variance and Conditional Idles will not work with these mods, as they affect the walk, idle, and run, which EVG cuddles all 3 of those. And lastly of the series, runway walk animation, which is meant for those who are in regular clothing, specifically women. To expand on both series of these animation mods though, we can add conditional armor type animations, which with the previous ones you will need the CATA versions instead of the regular animated versions. CATA adds even more variety to these animations, making them all viable. It will give the NPCs different animations depending on their armor types, whatever they're wearing basically. Whether they are fully geared in heavy armor, prancing about in light armor, or being busty in citizen clothing.
What were you just watching?
Which is specifically for females, as I said. This isn't really an animation mod, yet the foundation to many armor sets, cloaks, or even hairs, and has always been around. HDT-SMP Physics, an SKSE plugin that allows for more advanced physics to be applied to the actors in our Skyrim VR game, giving more life. This is not to be confused with CBPC, which allows for physics of Dabodatias Bubas, as I mentioned before with your VR hands. I personally have not expected any frame drop with HDT-SMP Physics, so I suggest you get it alongside the next mod. The only thing I ever wanted really to use HDT-SMP Physics for, I'm just gonna call it physics, is Artesian Cloaks of Skyrim. A mod that enables the physics of popular mods that adds cloaks and capes to our Skyrim, whether it's wet and cold, winter is coming, or Cloaks of Skyrim. The foam mod should be able to detect what you have, however, you can always go to the files section and find what suits your needs. Our capes can now be afloat as the characters run and prance about through the lands of Skyrim. Fantastic. Elegance. Yes. Truly, look at those cloaks. Fantastic physics. Before wrapping up the video, I wanted to mention the types of mods that associate with particular ones, or just mods as a whole that will not work to their fullest potentials, or not at all. First, and an obvious one, mods that alter the player animations. This will not work to an extent, however, if they just update the hands, they could potentially work, like magic casting animations overhaul. They'll adjust the hand animations to a small degree, and you could definitely use those if you prefer those animations. If you install an animation mod that is supposed to alter the player's animations, your body could flicker or go completely invisible if you have your VRIK installed. An example is smooth combat and non-combat animation. As I said before, I have tested as many mods as I could to get a more awesome feeling or a good perspective for the NPCs. Yet I would notice my body going invisible if I would draw a bow or if I pulled a weapon. And that was simply because of particular mods that altered the player. And that is why I stayed away from anything that could potentially change the entire dynamic of the player at all. This list was hard to compile, had a fun one for the most part. Now, as of right now, AMR, Animation Motion Revolution, as it stands for, is not working for Skyrim VR. AMR is used to alter the motion data to make it more real, in terms of the infamous issues of ice skating. However, as I said, it is not working in VR currently, so your mods that use SkySA will not work to its fullest extent. Another issue with some animation mods is the potential to have your opponents and even your allies become invisible when animations conflict with each other, and your game does not know which one to put first. For example, the EVG stuff. EVG is meant to be before any animation that would alter the idle, walk, mail, run, sprint, whatever. And this is a common issue with the Smooth series, which is sad to say, as the Smooth series is a fantastic one to have in a Skyrim game because it just looks cool and it looks, I don't know, interesting. I wanted it. I wanted all of the Smooth stuff. However, I couldn't do it. The last one I wanted to cover was Animated Armory. It's quite the popular mod in the Skyrim Special Edition of the game. However, using it in Skyrim VR isn't exactly pleasing to a certain extent. Yes, there are weapons that work with this mod, yet the weapon categories such as the whip, not being able to truly whip an opponent, or weapons like the claws not being centered with your hands. It just looks very goofy looking and very off-putting, for me at least. And because of its restrictions in Skyrim VR, this does not work as intended, sadly. Well, that's it for this top 20-ish mods you could have to reanimate your Skyrim VR for the denizens of Skyrim, whether it's friend or foe. If you have a specific category or role-playing type of character you want me to cover for your Skyrim VR, please let me know in the comments. It gives me ideas for these videos. Be sure to endorse the mods you've downloaded to support the creators and encourage them to do more, or to just give them pride. All the links for these mods will be in the description below, as well as a link tree for my socials and streaming platforms. Don't forget to join the Discord to be up to date with my content or just to chat with me and my fellow compatriots. If you liked any of the mods or found this helpful, be sure to like the video. Also, you can see these mods in action on my Skyrim VR roleplay series, which is posted every Sunday morning, CST. If you're interested in other VR content as well as comedic moments, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of those future videos. And one last thing is to keep your soul free.